Hi, I am Amanda Hirsch with the Gender Parity Collaborative, and I'm here today with Jimi Okubanjo, who is a former management consultant turned filmmaker and social change maker. Jimi was a special guest of ours at the Spring Solutions Summit, where she screened her film Arise Firebird, which looks, broadly speaking, at the experiences of women of color in the workplace. It sparked a very powerful conversation, one that we hope to continue here today. Jimi, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Amanda, so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, to start, can you please just tell us what is Arise Firebird about in your words?
Arise Firebird is a documentary film that celebrates the resilience of BIPOC and women in the workplace. It's a chance for people watching the documentary to experience the incredible journey of 3 inspirational BIPOC women professionals as they transcend from their inner blocks, inner challenges and barriers, and they discover joy and strength at work. We hope this film will be an unforgettable experience and an unforgettable story about resilience as it dives deep into the extraordinary path of empowerment, celebrating the indomitable, resilient spirit of people of color and women in the workplace.
I love that. So in addition to creating this film, which again, I saw an excerpt from, and it was incredibly, incredibly moving. You have a strategy, a campaign to use the film to drive broader change. Can you tell us about that, please?
Sure. So I feel like right now I am a storyteller. And to be honest, as a management consultant, we probably were storytellers, often stories of doom and gloom. So and some good stories as well. Once you hire us, it's all great. But I think what I hope with the film, hope to use with the film, is to create spaces for people of color, to be vulnerable and to begin to really open up about where they actually are in their workplaces, whether within their ERGs, within women's associations like HBA, whether it's in their houses of worship, whether it's with their mental health support providers, but to begin to understand that what could work trauma look like, what could struggling at work look like, and also get us to start redefining what resilience actually means. Resilience doesn't necessarily mean staying in a place suffering in silence and sucking it up, because at the end there's going to be cash and prizes. There probably won't be. Resilience may be rethinking your strategy for your career. Resilience is getting help. Resilience is taking that vacation. Resilience is taking medication. Resilience is questioning what you really want to do with your life. Resilience is accepting not getting promoted this year is not the end of the world, nor a reflection on who you are or your abilities or how hard you've worked that year. And so I really would love people when they share this film and they watch this film with their loved ones, with their peers, with their colleagues, to begin to question some of the things we've all heard about how we should be at work that have not been helpful to us, because that's what people have always said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to put the URL of the Arise Firebird website up here on the screen. So everyone watching this, you should go to arisefirebird.com. And we will talk more in a couple of minutes about ways to engage. But for now, I'm curious, with the broad view that you have and in the context of all the work that you've been doing, what's interesting to you about something like the Gender Parity Collaborative? What interested you in coming to talk to us? Why do yeah, go ahead.
What was really, I felt really unique about the work you're doing, or very different from some of the conversations I've been having prior, was your commitment to, one, bringing in leaders from different organizations to have this conversation, opposed to having the conversation to middle manager and D&I leaders or DEI coordinators. We're talking to heads of diversity management, senior managers from different divisions about this conversation. Secondly, there was this ongoing work you are working with leaders who are part of a journey, an ongoing journey, and being able to use Arise Firebird to underpin and augment an existing conversation was really powerful, because it allowed them to once again retest their assumptions and stretch themselves again a little bit further.
Yeah. So I, again, was at the Spring Solution Summit where you shared the film, and we had breakout room conversations afterwards. And I mean, some people who had been it got people to engage in a very personal way in the conversation. It was no longer, I don't know, an abstract or academic kind of topic. It was about me all of a sudden. And I think storytelling is such a powerful way to take the conversations inside organizations to that intimate place.
Absolutely. We have found with a lot of our screening events, because we've done dozens since we last met Amanda. And what we're learning is a lot of people, it is making them reflect, one, on, as an ally, like how much more they really have to learn. I do think this does present itself differently from a lot of the training, just training, because we're not training. We're just telling people stories. And because these women have gone on this journey where many of them are running their own businesses, or they've now found very safe employers to work with, they can speak with a forthrightness and I guess a clearness and a conciseness and a bluntness that we're finding many allies haven't heard. I had a friend of mine who we were friends during some of the worst parts of my career, and he didn't realize how bad it was, even though I told him everything. And he saw a TED talk I did where I outlined a snippet of some of the experiences, and he sent me a message saying he didn't know that's what I went through. And so there is something around hearing a story on screen that maybe that I think does allow us to engage with it differently than just hearing from somebody else. And
yeah. Well, and the context you establish too, as the filmmaker, as the storyteller, the power of your story alongside these other stories and the way you weave them together, maybe he received it in a different way because of that too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we're conditioned. We've been not conditioned. It's a loaded word. I think we're used to receiving information from screens.
Yeah.
And I do think there's a deliberateness with how one will present a TED talk, and in the case of documentary, a very big deliberateness in terms of really wanting people to hear the full story. And so people coming to watch a movie, not always, but a lot of them have committed themselves to hearing the full journey. They may not get there, but they've come with a mindset of, I do want to hear what this person has to say, which may not always be the case in the conversation. And the good thing with a film is that if it is getting a little bit too confusing or uncomfortable or real or too soppy and syrupy for you, you're able to stop the film, go and come back later to it.
Right.
Which is not the same in a conversation, because if
that's right,
you're really upset and you were to walk out and your husband walked you crying because you just can't handle it, right? It will cause a lot more damage to our relationship versus watching a movie where you can stop it, walk away, get yourself back together.
Yeah, well, you create the intimacy, and yet, as you're just noting, it's also sort of there's a protection because it's not actually interpersonal. And so, yeah, no, I could talk to you about this all day. I mean, my whole mission in life is to spread women's stories, and so we could geek out on that. But for the interests of time, let me just ask you a couple of more things. One, just to bottom line it, what is the number one message that you would want any woman of color to take away from watching the film, or just even from hearing about it today, I guess is a better question. Like if someone's watching this video and there's one thing they can take away, what is it that you hope that is?
I hope that to take the time. Well, I'm going to change you two things. One, there is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you that fundamentally needs to be fixed, regardless of what an employer says, coach says. We can always be more ourselves and be greater, but we're not fundamentally damaged. I'd also really want to encourage people to take some time and watch the film. Bring Arise Firebird into your professional women's groups, sister circles, your employee resource groups if you're part of that, and to have that conversation. And use this. You can use a film like this, so our film or a film like this or something else like this, to really start that conversation without having to carry the weight of being the person having the conversation.
And thank you. And if I am a white person in the corporate world, watching this video today, hearing about this film for the first time, what do you hope I take away? And yeah, what do you hope I take away?
I think that the big thing for me, for anyone who feels they've got any kind of privilege, empathy. It's a big word, and it's something I think many of us overestimate how much we have with it. I do, and myself included. You know, and I would say that watching the movie, watching Arise Firebird, one of the benefits for allies is to help build their empathy. They're really, and to have this conversation, lead this conversation with your team, have this conversation with your peers. Use the film to have this conversation, not because you want to come up with solutions, because I know that you probably have an amazing DEI program. If you're watching this, you're probably in some sort of DEI program already. You're probably doing some sort of culture change program already. So this is not about another initiative, but this really can help people build their empathy, because empathy grows with exposure. And so just watching this movie and having the conversation around it, for a lot of us, will improve and increase our own empathy and compassion for ourselves, and also for people who are going through work struggles that are different from ours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jimi. We so appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today. Everybody, go to arisefirebird.com, bring this film to your organization, learn more about it, and here's to empathy.